Hi, everyone. My name is Arsh Molu. I'm from the Human Rights Foundation, and today I'll be giving a presentation on Bitcoin and human rights. Um, so I'll start with what the Human Rights Foundation is and what we do, and then I'll gradually move towards our Bitcoin Development Fund and our Oslo Freedom Forum. So the Human Rights Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit based in the United States. And what we do is we fight for civil liberties in authoritarian regimes and closed societies. And what differentiates us from other human rights nonprofits alike is our exclusive focus on authoritarian regimes and closed societies. A lot of us may not know this right now, but over half the world lives in authoritarian regimes. And what that means is, in over half the world, doing something as simple as criticizing your government or speaking out against your government can get you thrown in jail or worse. And that's a huge problem. And it's a huge problem not because all of us in Bitcoin who care about freedom and should care about freedom think it's an issue that people who exercise freedom of speech are oppressed, but it's also a huge issue because authoritarianism is actually at the root of many of the world's problems today. So authoritarianism is responsible for 97% of the world's refugees, 79% of active conflicts, 18 out of 20 countries with the worst access to basic drinking water, and 90% of the lowest ranked countries in combating human trafficking, as well as 9 out of the 10 poorest countries in the world. So the problem today is that authoritarian regimes use money as a weaponized tool against their population. And what that means is they've effectively found out that, hey, if we can control the money, we can effectively control the people themselves. So oftentimes what's more effective than just throwing someone in jail for criticizing their government is to just simply shut off the bank account. And shutting off the bank account can mean that they're not able to effectively fundraise for their campaigns, and it also hinders their ability to do simple things like use their credit card to pay for their website or simply even to just buy food. So one solution to this problem is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is censorship resistant and decentralized, and you don't need to ask your government to use Bitcoin, which is one of the best parts about it. So we've had a bunch of previous examples in our previous talks, but one example for it could be the End SARS movement in Nigeria, which is a movement against police brutality. So it's pretty cool how I in the United States can just open my Bitcoin wallet and send over some sats to 5,000 miles away across the world. So Bitcoin can be the solution because it's decentralized, because it's censorship resistant, because you don't have to ask your government for permission and not one single entity or person controls it. So just to recap, human rights defenders continue to face increasing financial repression in the forms of frozen bank accounts, restrictions on foreign funding, payment surveillance, capital controls, etc. And what a lot of people in the human rights world understand is that authoritarianism is at the root of many of the world's problems today. However, what a lot of people don't understand is that monetary rights is also very important for human rights in general. So while Bitcoin continues to be a great tool for human rights, it's also needing continuous improvement and on the Bitcoin network and its app ecosystems, which is why we at the Human Rights Foundation are committed to expanding Bitcoin public education, helping Bitcoin advocates and Bitcoin developers and other open source projects through our Bitcoin Development Fund. So some examples of previous grantees include and are not limited to Bitcoin education, global Bitcoin conferences, Nostr, open source hardware wallets, Bitcoin core development, and other open source projects like payment processors, like open source payment processors. Last but not least, I wanted to take a chance to talk about our 15th annual Oslo Freedom Forum, which is right around the corner. It's happening June 13th through 15th, so just next week. So this is a conference that the Human Rights Foundation produces to bring together some of the world's most engaging activists, journalists, entrepreneurs, and now Bitcoiners. So this year we will have a very big and open track focusing on Bitcoin, bringing people all around the world from authoritarian regimes who are building out communities in that sense. So yeah, if you can learn more about our Bitcoin Development Fund at hrf.org/devfund. And if you're an open source developer who's working on a project or know one, feel free to send them our way and scan the QR code just right here. And yeah, if you're interested in funding, feel free to come to our booth in the expo hall, and feel free to follow me on Twitter at arsh.molu. Thank you.